is Alex Sobel, who is the Labour MP for Leeds North West. Let's do the Brexit thing. We've been talking about all sorts of stuff this half
Skirting
hour.
round it.
Yeah, not really, but we were talking about other issues. David in Keighley's got this to say. I have been a lifelong Labour voter all my life. Last manifesto of the Labour Party said it would leave. Now you want to remain. So I speak for millions of Labour supporters that will not be supporting you again. Couldn't care less what damage a no deal does. I want what I voted for to leave.
Well, I mean, the last bit's very telling. What I say to people actually about this is Brexit's like a building with 100 doors. You vote to leave, but you didn't say which door you'd like to leave through. There are some people, like Dave, who say, I don't care, doesn't matter, just leave, no deal, doesn't matter about the damage, doesn't matter if people can get medicines, doesn't matter about the jobs, doesn't matter if every car factory in the UK closes. That's fine, but I care about those things. I absolutely care about those things. If people think that being either a member or not a member of the EU is more important than people's lives and livelihoods and the future of this country, then that's up to them. But I fundamentally disagree with that. But coming back to sort of the question about, Labour's manifesto, there was an attempt to have a withdrawal agreement, and Parliament couldn't agree it. Both the hard Brexiteers and the ERG and the DUP voted against it, and we voted against it. And initially, only a very small number of MPs voted for it. That was the negotiated agreement. So we're now stuck, and we're now in a position where we are. Let's see what Boris Johnson or Jeremy Hunt, but it'll probably be Boris Johnson, come forward with. But we're at a point where we have to have a resolution to this, which I think everybody agrees. And if there isn't a clear resolution in Parliament, then I think it is up to the whole country to come involved in this again and decide.
But David's almost, and he must be echoing many Labour MPs' fears in constituencies that voted to leave, that he feels somehow betrayed, that he's not getting what we asked for. It's a real dilemma, I guess. And they've been waiting for Labour to do what they said, which was support leaving, not supporting something that wasn't as clear cut. I mean, Mark says, with the people's vote, why don't we have a choice of deal, no deal, or remain in Europe?
Well, I mean, we're not at that point in Parliament. That may or may not be what comes forward.
That's what Labour is saying, isn't it? That's what
do you mean?
Labour is saying, that they are going to support Remain and a referendum.
Yeah, but a referendum means that you have choices. Referendum isn't. We had the referendum. The last referendum wasn't, are we staying in the EU? Yes. It wasn't like, it was yes or no. So the next, if we have another public vote, it will be on number of choices.
Are you happy with that?
What, having another public vote? Oh yeah, I've been a supporter for a long time because I could see where we're ending up now happening, because it's such a complicated issue. You cannot untangle 40 years relationship in this simple way. I think that we need to understand the complexity of our relationship with Europe much better and what it means to leave. And if people are happy for the entire gamut of things that'll happen if we leave and unravel very quickly, then we'll have to do that. But I certainly don't, and I couldn't have it on my conscience that we would leave in a sort of particularly no deal scenario, which actually, and people might say I'm scaremongering. People can ring in now and say Alex scaremongering, they're entitled to. But I've read the no deal projections. I've spoken to businesses. I met yesterday with the BIA, which represents the pharmaceutical industry, and they said we will not be able to get the medicines in that some people need. That means some people might die, and I'm not prepared to do that.
The whole thing is divisive, nasty, uncertain. And I think many people who are not in Parliament are feeling this extremely bitterly, however they voted, whatever they want. It must take a toll. I mean, there are some who would say what's gone on in the House has just been, pontificating and self-interest and nothing to do with the country's well-being as a whole. And as a result, feel faith in politicians of any political persuasion is diminishing rapidly. I do hope you're having that sense as members of Parliament.
Of
I
course.
really do.
Of course. I mean, basically, we've been handed a poison chalice to deal with, and it's the world's largest poison chalice. So it's very difficult to deal with and untangle, and that's why we're at. And it's gonna and anybody who thought we could deal with this quickly. I mean, people in the Leave campaign said it will all be very quick and easy. Well, they were lying. I'm just not. They were absolutely lying. This isn't quick and easy. This is the most difficult thing the country is going to have to face in peacetime ever. So that's where we are. And also people who think that, like, if we just left, we just went, that's it, we're out, meant that was the end of it and we get back to normal. That's not at all. We're going to have to negotiate with 192 countries, individual trade deals, individual agreements, and something one country wants will conflict directly with something another country wants. And we're going to have this for years and years. This is going to be, if we left with no deal on 31st October, 30 years of pain this country's going to have to go through
That's
negotiating.
interesting. Bobby Shipley, he says he heard our texter saying he couldn't care less what damage a no deal does. So why do those so keen on a no deal seem to have no care for the impact it will have on some people? And says, what is your view, Alex, on those happy with no deal?
Well, I fundamentally disagree with them. I think I've been pretty clear. I think that maybe they don't realise the impact it'll have. Maybe they haven't looked at the impact it'll have. I mean, if I wasn't an MP, I probably wouldn't look into it as closely as I have. But I've got a duty of care to my constituents and to the country, and that's why I have. And that's why I meet with people from all sorts of organisations, charities, businesses, industry associations, academics. I read the reports because I have to take responsibility.
It's an interesting summer. Halloween cometh. Have you got a crystal ball? You any idea what's going to happen? What's your gut instinct?
I think it'll be a lot easier to tell on the 25th of July when the new Conservative Prime Minister's first day in office will probably make a big speech on what they intend to do. I think that people are expecting a lot of big fireworks and decisive moments. I'm not sure that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be more of a whimper than a bang.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Thank
Thanks,
you for
Liz.
coming in.